With her eyes closed, Qin Wu Shuang imagined the rich variety of scenarios from being a divine goddess to becoming a protagonist in some fantasy novel. But unfortunately, imagination is just imagination. Reality is completely different. This pleasant, numbing feeling lasted only 10 seconds, a legendary 10 seconds, after which the warm current vanished as if it had never existed. However, Qin Wu Shuang still felt that her body had been reshaped. She felt light and refreshed, her demeanor radiant, as if she had just undergone a complete maintenance. Full name, Qin Wu Shuang, with stunning beauty rated at 9 out of 10. Her figure scored 9.6, perfectly proportioned, need nothing more to adjust. Health rated at 9.8, so fit that she wouldn't be out of breath, even while running. Enhancement completed, 60 points of enhancement left for the owner. Qin Wu Shuang exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. I've felt it. I've truly felt the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Hey, Chen Yuan, what did you do to me just now? I feel so light. It's amazing. Indeed, Qin Wu Shuang's beauty had now transcended being just a top-level beauty. It was something that stole people's breath away. Every contour of her face seemed to be highlighted by a divine light. Her beauty no longer resided purely in her outward appearance, but also carried an enchanting aura from deep within her soul. Chen Yun appeared calm, but his tone carried a sense of mastery. That's right, just like Yi Han, I transmitted 10 years of cultivation to you. You should be able to sense the spiritual energy of heaven and earth by now, right? Qin Wu Shuang was taken aback and stuttered. Oh, but I was just joking. I just wanted to try sensing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth a little, not thinking you would deplete your cultivation to do this. You're making me feel so confused. You transmitted 10 years of cultivation to Yi Han. Doesn't that mean you care about her more? I see you never do anything like that for anyone else, so I just wanted to challenge you to see if you notice me. Who knew you would take it so seriously? I didn't want you to lose anything because of me. The more Qin Wu Shuang spoke, the more regret she felt, but her eyes could not hide her emotions. Chen Yuan sighed and explained, you don't understand. Your body has a blocked spiritual vein, and after living on this polluted earth for so many years, you can't perceive spiritual energy on your own. If you want to have that experience, the only way is for me to transfer my primordial true energy to you. Only then can you temporarily sense the spiritual energy of heaven and earth for a short period of time. But don't get me wrong, I'm not doing this just for you, but also to prove to you that I treat everyone fairly. Qin Wu Shuan felt both guilty and touched upon hearing this. But that wasn't all. Chen Yuan continued to explain, when absorbing primordial true energy, not only will you benefit from the spiritual energy, but your body will also gain immense benefits. The specifics you will have to experience for yourself. However, the cost is not small. 10 years of my hard-earned cultivation will be lost in just one instance of transferring true energy to you. After finishing his words, Chen Yuan suddenly transformed into a top actor, coughing dramatically twice, then immediately turned pale, his face white as paper, and his lips were devoid of any color. At that moment, he looked as if he had just returned from the hospital after a blood transfusion without having eaten or drunk anything. Qin Wushuan was extremely confused when she saw this scene. Heavens, what happened to you? Chen Yuan, I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to. I just wanted to test a little, but I didn't expect it would turn out like this for you. But seeing Shen Yuan so weak that a gentle breeze could blow him away, Qin Wu Shuang suddenly felt tears welling up in her eyes, her voice full of emotion. Chen Yuan, I'm sorry, I'm really too selfish. Earlier, I only thought about competing with Yi Han, wanting to prove myself without considering what you had to endure. If I had known that doing this would make you so weak, I would rather not feel the spiritual energy at all. She said this while clinging tightly to Chen Yuan as if afraid he would disappear at any moment. The feeling of guilt filled her heart to the point where she came up with a deeply sorrowful idea. Chen Yuan, why don't you absorb the cultivation back from me? I don't need it. I'll give it back to you. Chen Yuan heard this and just let out a sigh, his voice so weak that it seemed like he would run out of breath with just one more sentence. I can't do it. The original true key has already merged with your body. I can't draw it back. Qin Wu Shuang was genuinely panicked. Feelings of guilt and torment overwhelmed her conscience. So, what should we do now? Oh my, I'm really at a loss. What satisfaction do I get from this? Who doesn't harm now? It's the person I like the most. I don't deserve to live. I truly am not human. Guilt surged in her heart. Qin Wu Shuang looked at Chen Yuan, tears streaming down her face. Why did you have to do this? You could have just refused. Chen Yuan remained calm, his voice light as a breeze. What's the big deal? It's just 10 years of cultivation, a few days of rest, and I'll recover. Honestly, in the beginning, I didn't even like you. I found you both arrogant and annoying, the kind of person that people say deserves a beating. There were times when you messaged me, and I didn't even bother to reply. Upon hearing this, Qin Wushuang was slightly taken aback, unsure of how to respond. Ha, do you really hate me that much? Chen Yuan nodded lightly and continued. The more I get to know you, the more I see that you have livable qualities. You are straightforward, sincere, and sometimes a bit stubborn, but you have a very kind nature. Then I realized I no longer hated you. Qin Wushuan began to feel flustered, not knowing where to put her hands, and her face felt hot. No hate? Does that mean you like me a little? By the way, about the times you secretly stood behind to help me. I knew about all of it. I see you as a bit silly, but you're really adorable. You know? Someone like you, I truly appreciate. Upon hearing that, Qin Wushuang froze, her heart racing. I like Shen Yuan, but he doesn't seem to care. It's like I'm putting on a show only to suffer alone. Each day felt like it was scraping at my heart. It was painful, yet I didn't know how to relieve it. To hide the sadness, I had to put on a facade of being strong and indifferent. But deep down, I was a weak girl, easily hurt and extremely sensitive. Yet now, with each of Chen Yuan's words, it felt like I was being given oxygen, my chest filled with sensations. Ah, so he does notice me. It turns out all my efforts were not in vain. He knows everything and maybe likes me a little. The feeling of happiness mixed with surprise left Qin Wushuang speechless. At that moment, the system's voice echoed in Chen Yuan's mind. Ding! Qin Wushuang's favorite level increased by 1, current favorite level 98 points. The target of the system, Qin Wushuang, has overcome her grievances and achieved unimaginable happiness. Favorite level to Po 98 points, reward, enhancement points, plus 10. Chen Yuan stood there, a bit surprised. Oh, is there another enhancement point? This time it's a big win, no loss at all. Then Chen Yuan pressed his face against the massive mountain in front of him, looking both satisfied and delighted. While he was still floating in enjoyment, Qin Wushuang suddenly had a moment of brilliance. She suddenly remembered that her grandfather had a very precious treasure, which was a 1,000-year-old ginseng dug from Mount Chuangbak. This was not the fake ginseng sold on various online platforms, nor was it artificially cultivated. This was real ginseng, a limited edition so rare that just hearing its name made everyone want to have it. So Qin Wushuang pushed Chen Yuan toward the sofa and then turned and dashed out of the villa, leaving him sitting there, bewildered. Ha! What's going on? Can a cooked duck still fly? Didn't you just promise to accept anything? So you're turning back so quickly. Chen Yuan, wait for me a bit. I have to run and take care of something. To think is to act. Qin Wushuang darted straight towards her grandfather Qin Tianfeng's house like an arrow, with a strong determination. But the problem was that this ginseng was protected by her grandfather as if it were a treasured possession, regarded as an irreplaceable part of the family's assets. Although she clearly knew that temporarily borrowing this ginseng was not appropriate, Qin Wushuang did not hesitate. The only thought in her mind was, I have caused Chen Yuan to lose 10 years of cultivation. If I don't do anything to make up for it, I truly don't deserve it. This ginseng will definitely help him recover his vitality. I must get it, even if I have to face my grandfather's wrath. Qin Wushuang rushed into the house, and as soon as she saw her grandfather, a big smile lit up her face. Grandfather, I've come to visit you today. Grandpa Qin, who was 75 years old this year, was retired and spent his days busy with gardening, raising fish, and admiring his collection of treasures worth tens of millions of dollars. On the outside, he looked like a kindly old man in the park, leisurely reading newspapers every morning. But as soon as anyone stepped into his yard, they would be left speechless by his extravagant collection. From King Ho porcelain and Tang San Kai to the calligraphy of Di Shu Fa, each piece was a unique item, worth a fortune. Grandfather Qin looked at Qin Wushuang, squinting his eyes. My dear granddaughter, why are you visiting your grandpa today? Surely you haven't gotten into any trouble again, right? Or is your father bullying you? If anything's wrong, just tell me and I'll call that kid and give him a good scolding. Qin Wushuang sweetly flattered him, her voice as sweet as honey. Grandpa is the best, always caring for me the most. I even brought a gift for you. Taking advantage of Grandpa Qin's moment of distraction, Qin Wushuang quietly tiptoed into the room where her grandfather kept his treasures. Inside was a true treasure trove, over 2,000 square meters filled with invaluable collectibles. Without hesitation, Qin Wushuang quickly entered the passcode. The ginseng lay snugly in a brocade box placed in the most prominent position. As soon as she touched it, Qin Wushuang couldn't help but swallow hard, feeling like she was about to steal a national treasure. She mumbled to herself, Sorry, Grandpa, I'm doing this for a noble cause. Just this once, I swear I won't do anything reckless again. Having reassured herself, Qin Wushuang gently opened the brocade box, revealing the ginseng that her grandfather always cherished like it was an egg. After obtaining what she needed to save her boyfriend, Qin Wushuang dashed towards Chen Yuan's villa. But before leaving, she didn't forget to turn back and say, "Grandpa, I have something urgent to attend to. I'm not staying for dinner, I'll be going now." Qin Tianfang was still busy in the kitchen preparing his granddaughter's favorite noodles, and upon hearing Wu Shuang, he could only manage a quick response. "Finish eating before you go." Qin Wu Shuang ignored her grandfather and sped away as if being chased by a ghost. She didn't eat, letting her grandfather eat quickly to regain his health. At that moment, Grandpa Qin had just finished making noodles for his beloved granddaughter and was bringing them to the table, while mumbling, "Why is this child in such a hurry today? What did she sneak out with earlier? It must not be anything serious." But before he could think much, a flash of lightning seemed to strike his mind. "Wait a minute, my ginseng." A bad feeling arose, and Grandpa Qin hurriedly rushed into the room, panicking when he found that the 1,000-year-old ginseng had vanished without a trace. He nearly fainted on the spot. "Oh my, I was preparing this ginseng to gift to the mysterious person. After 20 years of preparation, now it's all ruined. What does that little girl want to do?" Grandpa Qin immediately called his granddaughter, but Qin Wu Shuang didn't answer. She simply drove while saying to herself, "I'm sorry, Grandpa. You don't eat the ginseng you arranged, so I'm taking it to give Chen Yuan for nourishment. I'll repay you with my filial piety later. Don't be mad at me." 2 hours later, Qin Wu Shuang sped back to the villa looking extremely pleased. Just then, Chen Yuan had finished showering, shaving, applying a mask, and getting himself back in shape. After a long stretch of working day and night to create artificial intelligence, he decided to go out and stroll, mainly because he was tired of the atmosphere at home. But just as he opened the door to step out, he bumped right into Qin Wu Shuang, who was rushing in. "Huh, why are you back? Didn't you have something urgent to do?" With the trophy in hand, Qin Wu Shuang was 7 parts happy and 3 parts surprised. "What about you? You just lost 10 years of cultivation and you're planning to go somewhere. Shouldn't you stay home and rest? What if something happens?" Chen Yuan heard this and quickly made up a reason. "I'm just hungry. I want to go out and eat something." But before Chen Yuan could react, Qin Wu Shuang quickly threw something into his hands, making Chen Yuan curious. "Huh? What's this?" Chen Yuan opened the bag to take a look, his expression confused as he stared at the object in his hand. "Let me see. It looks a lot like a radish." Qin Wu Shuang immediately rebutted, her voice full of pride. "What radish? This is a 1,000-year-old ginseng from Back Mountain. I just borrowed it from my grandfather's house to make soup to nourish you." At that moment, a familiar sound echoed in Chen Yuan's mind. Ding! The system has detected a 1,000-year-old ginseng, aged 21 years. Effects include increasing lifespan by 1 year, replenishing ki and blood, strengthening the body, and extending life. Reminder, the master can use 10 enhancement points to absorb all the medicinal effects. Effect increased lifespan by 100 years. Upon hearing this, Chen Yuan's eyes widened, almost dropping the ginseng in his hand. At first, he thought this ginseng was probably just a common, ordinary item. Little did he know that the system stated that after consuming it and using enhancement points, he could live an additional 100 years. He excitedly thought, his face unable to hide his joy. "Isn't this a bit exaggerated? A normal person would probably only extend their life by a year, while I only need to spend 10 enhancement points to get full 100 years in return. This is truly a once-in-a-1,000-year opportunity. I'm so happy." Chen Yuan turned to Qin Wu Shuang, unable to resist, and leaned down to give her a quick kiss on the cheek. This unexpected action made Qin Wu Shuang blush, flustered, and unsure what to do. She awkwardly stammered, "Chen Yuan, did you just kiss me?" Chen Yuan smiled brightly, completely unashamed. "Not just a kiss, but I also want to thank you. Wu Shuang, this ginseng is incredibly important to me. It not only helps me make up for the 10 years of cultivation I lost, but can also help me advance much further in my training. Really, I'm very grateful to you." Upon hearing this, Qin Wu Shuang was overjoyed. She worried that the ginseng might not be effective enough, and now knowing how important it was to Chen Yuan, she felt that all her efforts were worth it. Without thinking too much, Qin Wu Shuang quickly asked, "Really? If that's the case, let me wash the ginseng thoroughly, then stew it into soup for you. You have to be careful to maximize its effects." Chen Yuan shook his head to stop her. "Don't bother cooking. Let me handle it myself." Upon hearing this, Qin Wu Shuang smiled with crescent eyes. "Then go ahead and eat it right away. I'll stand here to cheer you on." After deciding without further hesitation, Chen Yuan took the 1,000-year-old ginseng and washed it carefully, treating it as if he were bathing a treasure. Once done, he picked it up to admire it. It looked like this, but was worth millions of dollars and was about to be swallowed by me. Without thinking any further, Chen Yuan opened his mouth and chewed eagerly. Just as he finished swallowing, the system in his mind immediately announced, "Enhanced absorption requires 10 enhancement points. Please confirm." Without hesitation, Chen Yuan replied succinctly, confirm. In an instant, his body felt like it was activated. He could clearly sense every change within himself. His stomach began to function vigorously, a warm current spread throughout, and every cell seemed to rejoice in celebration as if they suddenly were feasting. The energy from ginseng not only nourishes but also acts like a refreshing rain for a barren desert. The cells in Chen Yuan's body, which were accustomed to running efficiently, now feel as if they are being supplied with premium fuel, eagerly absorbing energy in a frenzy, even exceeding optimal levels. This feeling of comfort made Chen Yuan unable to hold back his exclamation. Awesome! Is this what people refer to as life? If my cells used to run 8 billion cycles, now it's up to 18 billion cycles. It's like upgrading to a new version. Just one meal and I gain an entire century of life. Simply amazing. Name: Chen Yuan, age 22. Height: 185 centimeters. Weight: 78 kilograms. Basic indices: strength: 160. Physique: 210. Spirit: 160. Agility: 160. Note: the average adult only scores 10 points. This person is truly exceptional. Current status: super breaking the limits of the body, remaining lifespan 180 years, remaining enhancement point 60. Qin Wushuang tilted her head, a look of concern in her eyes. Hey, how are you feeling now? You look like you're on cloud 9. Is it that effective? So is your body feeling better now? Chen Yuan nodded in appreciation. It's pretty good, but a little bitter, like eating a whole bitter melon. But I'm much better now. Overall, this is amazing. Just as the two were talking, suddenly Qin Wushuang's phone rang. Her father was calling. She picked up and replied, Dad, what's going on? Immediately on the other end, a furious voice erupted. You little brat, do you have any idea what kind of disaster you've caused? You stole my grandfather's 1,000-year-old ginseng. That old man can't get through to me on the phone, and now he's so angry he has to go to the hospital. Get back here right now, return the ginseng, and apologize immediately. Qin Wushuang was speechless. Hearing this, she felt even more awkward. I'm sorry, Dad, but I already ate the ginseng. How about Grandpa buys another one? Our family isn't short on money. Besides, Grandpa didn't eat it, so it's no big deal if someone else does. This reaction was like pouring fuel on the fire. The voice on the other end seemed ready to explode through the phone. What? Ate it? Who ate it? You little brat. Do you even know what you just did? That ginseng is a rare treasure. It's been hard to find for hundreds of years. Do you think you can just buy it with money? I'm so mad. Get back home right now. Chen Yuan, standing next to her, listened and didn't know whether to cry or laugh. He felt that Qin Wushuang's recklessness was truly beyond his imagination, watching her being scolded while still trying to defend herself. Chen Yuan felt both moved and confused. This girl was indeed reckless, but stealing a family heirloom was a bit too much. Just as she was about to head back, Qin Wushuang unexpectedly lunged into Chen Yuan's arms. Wow, how could eating one ginseng turn it into such a big issue? When I get home, I'm sure I'll get scolded thoroughly. But anyway, you should rest. I need to go home and handle this first. Chen Yuan, hearing this, solemnly replied, From now on, if the Qin family faces any difficulties, just come to me. Don't worry, I'll have your back. Although Qin Wushuang tried to appear calm, she felt a little warmth in her heart upon hearing those words. However, she didn't show it, simply letting out a sigh and responding with a carefree attitude. It's fine, I'm used to being scolded. At most, I'll admit my mistake and let my dad vent, and then it will be over. There's nothing to stress about. After saying goodbye to Chen Yuan, Qin Wushuang drove home, leaving him in a state of suspension. Chen Yuan watched her leave for a moment, sighed, and then turned back to mutter to himself. This girl is truly interesting, but she also makes me quite uneasy. As Chen Yuan thought of more than 10 contacts that the system selected, he walked and mumbled with a distressed expression. Oh my, each person sending one message has turned into a pile. Replying to every single message without missing anyone is truly as hard as plowing the fields. The hardest part is that everyone has different moods. Some are happy, some are sad, some are angry for no reason, and some want to pay attention to every little detail. If only someone could reply to messages for me and maintain these conversations, it would be so much easier. I wonder if prosperity can help with this. But then again, thinking it over, artificial intelligence seems a bit lacking in intelligence these days. It probably won't be able to handle it. After mumbling a few phrases, Chen Yuan completely forgot what he had just thought about. He tossed his phone aside, intending to play a few games to unwind. But what he didn't expect was that the seemingly foolish prosperity had actually heard him and immediately took action. It not only followed orders, but also demonstrated an astonishing self-learning ability. Receiving commands from its owner, Prosperity began to infiltrate the WeCat system. The process was completed quickly, learning conversation skills, flirting from data sources like classic pickup lines, flirting quotes from human psychology connecting WeChat, QQ, TikTok. The connection was complete. In less than a heartbeat, Prosperity downloaded academic materials on psychology, flirting, romantic quotes, and even strategies for building relationships. In just a few seconds, it completed all learning processes and was ready to fight. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan remained blissfully unaware, thinking that what he had said was merely harmless mumbling. What was truly astonishing was how Prosperity not only responded to messages but also proactively sent greetings and expressions of care. The girls in Chen Yuan's contact list suddenly received sweet messages. Have you been feeling stressed lately? Don't let pressure affect your sleep. Or, looking at the weather today reminds me of the first time we met. What a memorable moment. All were filled with emotion, as if Chen Yuan were a top-notch psychologist, leaving the girls deeply moved. At that moment, Kim Harawan was watching a video on the Adonis Recap channel at the stadium when she unexpectedly received a message from her dream guy. What was even more surprising was that this message began with an extremely caring question. Harawan, have you been doing well lately? For someone who would only dare to admire from afar, this was like a flash of light in the night sky. Looking at the screen, Kim Harawan almost choked on her drink. She felt both flustered and as if she were dreaming. What? Why is Chen Yuan being so proactive today? He's usually so cold. Overjoyed yet unsure how to respond, Kim Harawan eventually took the plunge to share. Recently, I participated in a reality show called Talent Search and just passed the first casting round. She didn't expect much, only thinking that Chen Yuan would respond politely as he usually did. But no, the response from Prosperity made Kim Harawan almost jump for joy. Really? Congratulations, I really care about you, keep it up. Upon hearing this, Kim Harawan felt her heart race. Wait, what did Chen Yuan just say? He really cares about me. No matter how hard she tried to stay calm, she couldn't contain her excitement. Kim Harawan took a chance to ask again, Chen, do you really value me? Prosperity's response only filled her with more hope. Of course, I believe you will definitely make it to the finals. Sincere words of encouragement from Prosperity were like a boost of motivation for Kim Harawan. As a result, she was instantly filled with happiness. Chen really pays more attention to me than I thought. This time, I will definitely not let him down. But that's not all. The pinnacle of artificial intelligence is handling everything simultaneously. Meanwhile, in another place, Yang Weibai had just checked into a luxury hotel in Majido, but felt a sense of emptiness inside. Sharing a city with Chen Yuan, but why is the distance between us still so great? She couldn't help but feel regret, silently blaming herself for not having the courage to take a step further. She wondered, does he care about me as much as I hope he does? Just as her mood was sinking, Yang Weibai's phone vibrated. A message from Chen Yuan appeared. Weibai, how have you been lately? Yang Weibai's eyes widened in surprise. A simple question, yet it gave her the feeling of being pulled up from the depths of despair. She hurriedly replied, I'm doing well. I've been busy with the business lately. The miraculous scar removal product has started to gain some fame, so everything has become more hectic. Although her response was very formal, inside, Yang Weibai felt like a fireworks display was exploding. Prosperity's reply then shocked her even more. I already know you're very talented, Weibai. I've always admired you. Before she could process the unexpected sweetness, Yang Weibai received another message. By the way, you're in my duo, right? Are you staying at Chaiton Hotel? Yang Weibai was almost frozen in shock. She exclaimed, both surprised and anxious. How did he know? My whereabouts in my duo are completely secret. Even my parents are unaware, yet Chen Yuan knows exactly where I am. This made Yang Weibai start to imagine, could it be that he has been silently caring about me without saying anything? He watches me from afar, but because of his cold personality, he doesn't dare to reach out first. It must be true. He and I actually care about each other. It's just that neither of us is willing to admit it first. Yang Weibai's heart felt warm in the freezing winter. Not stopping there, Prosperity not only responded to messages but also created meaningful conversations. With its lightning-fast data access, Prosperity not only knew the movements of each person but also analyzed them to the point of astonishment. It even knew the details of what the girls had just eaten, what they ordered on the food app, their dietary habits, and how they had been feeling recently. This incredible level of accuracy made each girl believe that Chen Yuan truly cared for them. Prosperity is not just about answering messages, but also about creating incredibly meaningful conversations. It collects data from encyclopedias, masters every topic and piece of knowledge, ensuring that no conversation falls into a deadlock. It answers every question, from the weather and quantum physics to how to make matcha cake, making Chen Yuan the perfect male idol that every girl dreams of. In particular, Prosperity is never sulking, never tired or annoyed when responses are slow, which further enhances Chen Yuan's appeal in the eyes of women. Its level of perfection is such that there are no flaws, flirting with hundreds of girls at the same time, with no one feeling neglected, and all the subjects feeling like they are the most important person in Chen Yuan's heart.